然后为228提出一个说法，然后在那个说法之下，基本上原则上就是不再允许任何自由讨论这个类似像it's similar to what at this moment the Rwanda policies, and it's similar. The eldest precedent is the AFET. AFET is 同样就是说你其实是不准再提这个事情，然后他们的yeah. So this is okay. I'll find one mention of the hotel Rwanda. This is the hotel Rwanda that happened here. I just mentioned that this is a beautiful hotel. I take the picture from this corner, but you have beautiful gardens and swimming pools. But we come to here not to stay, but here we have a very happy episode, because here we successfully rent a car. That's the only one. We rent a car and drive out freely for a week in circle around Rwanda. That's also one thing that, for example, like in Uganda, I tried to rent a car, but then they don't have such kind of business. They have, okay, if you rent a car, okay, it necessarily accompany our driver. We will provide a driver for you, and the driver are paid on the wage of 8 hours. And after 8 hours, if you are still on the roads, you pay them extra money or something like that. And this all in the package. You cannot rent a car without a driver. So that's not what we need. So we never rent a car here. All these kind of difficulties tells that the lack of the middle class, in these countries. So those kind of services are common for the middle class. The middle range hotel or rent a car, something like that, will still lacking. So we rent a car here and drive out. So it's wonderful. Okay, here. Here is by the Gizeni, by Lake Kivu, border town to Democratic Republic of Congo's Goma. That is the Goma captured by M23 rebels during 2012 and 2013. So now we come to the third country story here. Here, this is the picture I took. Here you see that about 1 kilometer away, 1公里以外的左边 on the left is Democratic Republic of Congo, and then we visit here after our dinner about 9 o'clock, and so it's dark, and then we walk to about this place, and then I quit. I walked back to our hotel because we are considering the possibility of being kidnapped by some bandits from Congo. Because it's, if you go too near, it's very possible being kidnapped. Because for the past 2 years, they have that's my coming story of Congo. But the past 2 years, yeah, okay. I would say that currently, if there's something like hell in our earth, it's the 3 provinces across the Congo. Yeah, I will go to that. And in these 2 years, you have many incidents. Some larger one I will talk about, and some small one, like the Western tourists, maybe a couple kidnapped, maybe for ransom, and finally killed. And then they have a skirmish. The bandits, they have skirmish with the United Nations security force and killed 4 or 5 of the UN soldiers. And then they also supported those bandits want to, or rebels, I would say that it's very complicated. They want to support themselves. They rely on poaching, and they poach on the Congo's national park, and then sometimes they will skirmish with the national park guard, and then they will kill some, kill maybe 4 or 5 of them. So that's the common happening in the past 2 years until now. So that's why I'm so worried about that. And then we stop here, and then we go back and say that because it's all dark, I'm afraid of something going up, and then just 1 meter. Then we'll be in trouble. Maybe they will ask so-and-so to pay ransom. Well, that then, I don't know, then it becomes your trouble, right? Yeah, so.
We would not pay.
Huh?
We would not pay.
No, we would not pay.
Okay, yeah. Okay, here I will introduce you. In the border, in the 3 provinces bordering Rwanda, the other side of Kivu Lake, South Kivu, South Kivu province, North Kivu province, which has a capital of Goma, I just showed you, and then the northern border across the lake to Uganda is the province of Ituri, which is really bad now, the current situation. Now, let me introduce who are there. The first, Mai Mai, okay, refers to any kind of a community-based militia group active in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, formed to defend their local territory against other armed groups. Most were formed to resist the invasion of Rwanda forces and the Rwanda-affiliated Congolese rebel groups, but some may have formed to exploit the war for their own advantage by looting, cattle rustling, and banditry. Banditry and militia, local militia or whatever. Mai. Then M23, who occupied Goma, the city, border city I showed you, in 2012 and 2013. Also known as the Congolese Revolutionary Army, means against the Congolese government, was a rebel military group based in eastern area of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, mainly operating in the province of North Kivu. A United Nations report found that Rwanda created and commanded the M23 rebel group. Rwanda ceased its support following international pressure, as well as the military defeat by DRC and the UN in 2013. Okay, then ADF, the ADF, the Allied Democratic Forces is a rebel group in Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo bordering, but mostly they have their action inside of the Congo, and is considered a terrorist organization by the Uganda government. Okay, so this rebel group is announced opposition to the Uganda governments, but they are mostly based on the border of the border inside the Congo. And LRA, I just introduced them. They are still there. Maybe now they moved to Darfur, but they have often wandering on that area for some time. And then FDLR, the Hutu group, Democratic Force for the Liberation of Rwanda. No, so it's still there, and it still plays an important political role. Okay, so that's that's the rebel force against the current Rwanda government. They are the Hutu who are responsible for the genocide. But they are now still a group here and sheltered and favored by the president. Kabila Foods, father and son, Kabila, they're favored by the Kabila presidents. And then, the last one is the official army of Democratic Republic of Congo, where in their operation there's also atrocities. So now see, so complicated. Rebels against the Ugandan governments, rebels against Rwanda governments, rebel against Congolese governments, and the local militia, sometimes associated fine with the Kabila governments, not necessarily loyal to whatever in power in Congo. So you have to see, it's very complicated. If you go there and you run into any kind of, probably you don't even know, the positions and the advantage, disadvantage or something like that. You don't even know that. So I think, and it's happening, still happening like this, truly conflicts ongoing. This is happening during my stay in Uganda, and this is happening probably now, and this has a long history, and this constantly happening, very complicated, very complicated background. Okay, by mid-February 2018, entire Ituri village had been burned to the ground, and many others completely abandoned. Starting in January, Congolese began to cross Lake Albert to safety in Uganda. They are, in a massive group with canoe or small boat across the lake and come to Uganda. Because the ethnic conflict, the fleeing Hema, the ethnic group called Hema, have a very close relative, in terms of ethnicity and the way of life on side of Uganda, Western province. So they are huge, now 100,000, accumulated. Yeah, so according to the United Nations report, there were an estimated 66,000 children internally displaced and another 25,000 refugees in Uganda. The Ugandan government confirmed an outbreak of cholera. These are old news, last year's, in the areas of the existing refugee camps. More than 1,000 hospitalized with cholera in 3 days. That's news. This also happened in March as a Jugo massacre. More than 40 civilians were killed in a major Lendu. Lendu is, and Hema are formerly now is ethnic group in conflicts, but the situation is complicated. Following this attack on Lendu attack on the village of Maize in Ituri province, the violence between the Hema and the Lendu ethnic groups in Ituri provinces continue to increase in several of DR Congo's provinces over the control of disputed land. As part of a wave of violence, 3 Ituri villages were attacked and 39 were killed. By mid-March, the massacres had ceased, but crop destruction, kidnappings, and the killings continued. By March, thousands of people were fleeing the violence that resulted in over 100 casualties. In the spring, a total of 350,000 people from Ituri had fled the violence, with about 50,000 making Lake Albert, crossing to Uganda, and then okay, so well, I would say that if you report the news in a superficial way, then it would be the ethnic conflict between Lendu and Hema. But the situation is very complicated. Remember the Hutu rebellion groups, the FDLR, those Hutu people now currently are rebels against the current Rwanda governments, and those Hutu people are responsible for the genocide. They are favorably sheltered by Kabila governments because the local peoples are disfavored toward Kabila governments. They have a lot of discontent. And then the Kabila governments give vote card, which I really don't know. They have see that non-citizen, but giving you vote card. So we heard that in Punat's proposal. So that's strange things. The Kabila government give these Hutu refugees, rebels, vote card, and then even support them with some military weaponry, something like that, and then maybe instigate some conflict to inflame the problems of Lendu and Hema. So because you will see in some area, Lendu and Hema, the ethnic group, their chief understand the situation and come up with a declaration saying that they will not be manipulated into conflicts. But some area you have this kind of awareness to avoid being splitted or something. And then some other areas which are the perception, awareness are weak, and so that conflict will happen. So there's a lot of very complicated politics like this, the governments. And my mind, you see that sometimes they align to the government, sometimes don't. Yeah, so it's very complicated, and I don't have time for more detailed stories. Yeah, so this is ongoing. Okay, now let's go to our fourth story, Nigeria. Okay, we start with so-called Biafran War, or Nigerian Civil War, or as I call it, Nigerian Biafran War, July 1967 to January 1970. I read, before I went to Africa, I read this wonderful memoir by Chinua Achebe. There was a country. He is equal writers. So he is combining his personal memoir with his historical reflection. Nigeria, this Biafra declared independence in 1967 is on this area. And then it involved the Nigerian Civil War. And for the 3.5 years Civil War, you have very strangely international involvement, like Great Britain and the Soviet Union, both sides, strange. I didn't study why. they both sides they support the Nigerian side. But you have many like Germany or France or something in South Africa sided with the Biafran side, and then there's an embargo, and then finally there's a very serious famine and starvation, and then finally the Biafran surrender. It begins by something, like there are oil, discovery on this area, and then Nigerian government have a biased, demarcation that to include, to exclude the oil field out of the Igbo ethnic area. So that's one of the reasons that begins the trend of Biafra independence. Yeah. Okay. So about 100,000 overall military casualties, but between 500,000 and 2 million Biafran civilians died of starvations, and the starvations, the final cause, the blockade and the starvations, the final cause for Biafran's surrender. And the aftermath, the aftermath is the Igbo people till now probably have never have Igbo people in the high-ranking military structure and the political one. They have been, discriminated against in 政界、军界，军界几乎他们不可能那个义国就是义国被征服以后的那个义国。Yeah, okay. But I'm interested in this long period of this because till now, today, ongoing, they still have periodical episodes of violence raped Nigeria for decades. Very complicated. In Plateau State, Muslim cattle herders from the north and Christian farmers from the south for control of the fertile lands. That's one phase, you can see it. Then religious and ethnic nationalism has led to conflict about the controls of state power, and equal allocation of resources, citizenship issues, state collapse, economic decline, and ethno-religious clashes. And many Nigerians also argue that the real reason for the violence isn't ethnic or religious differences, but the scramble for land, scarce resources, and political clout. Poverty, joblessness, and corrupt politics drive extremists from both sides to commit horrendous atrocities. So now, I think it is still happening. Remember, I'm contrasting to the Uganda disarmament of the northern tribe, right? Northern tribe. In this area, my friend, Nigerian friend from who is Igbo, complains that the house of Fulani. So can you see, in a modern state, but you still see these Hausa Fulani herdsmen, riding horse with all the weapons, guns, rifles on the back, freely, get into the country, the cities or something like that. He is expressing, the threat, these kind of things, and some they happen still from time to time. Yeah. So compared to that, Uganda now you have already, of course, it went through certain atrocities or something, at that moment, but still, I think is here compared to Nigeria, where the state monopolization of violence or means of violence are not completed. So you have the situation like this, Yeah. Okay. House of Fulani vs. Igbo, the ongoing fatal conflicts. Some explanation. Okay. This is coming from my readings. Okay. Various ethnic groups in one nation could show contrasting attitudes toward the colonial Western legacy. Okay, in Nigeria, you can see Igbo of the South, the Biafran part, that's not Biafran no more, the Biafran part, Igbo of the South, shows a much more positive receptivity to Western education and religion, Christian religion and education, compared to the Islamic Hausa of the North. This has resulted in persisting educational and economic inequalities. Igbo predominance in white collar, Igbo now discriminated against by the military ranking structure and political structure, but they are doing better in white collar and professional occupations, and they produce a lot of writers. Okay. Yeah. And they provoke the hostility among other ethnic groups such as House of Fulani. Okay, let me explain a little bit of House of Fulani. Fulani is an Afro-Asiatic, nomadic group. They have territory for their, nomad. Activities for much larger area, including many of the sub-Sahara, areas, and many like Chad or Central Africa, and including some other Western countries. So they are spreading much wider. But inside of Nigeria, you have three major ethnic groups, like Yoruba on the north, Hausa, each have more than 40 million people, and you have Igbo in the south have over 30 million, over 30 million. People. So this is major three. But those Fulani inside of Nigeria, they mix up with the Hausa quite thoroughly. So now they call it the Hausa Fulani. So Hausa Fulani is according for those Fulani inside of Nigeria, mixed with the Hausa people. Yeah. So why is the Islamist Boko Haram? Now we know. Boko Haram. Boko Haram is something like ban any kind of Western education, any kind of Western culture or Western education. Literally, it means that a territory. This territory is a territory banning any of Western education or Western cultural elements. So the Islamists, Boko Haram, they are associated with the Hausa people, maybe targeting Christians living in the north, because the Igbos, some and others are minorities in the north, Christian minorities in the north. The view is that the Hausa Fulani Boko Haram are targeting the Igbo ethnic group. So it will perceive in a way, this kind of House of Fulani vs. Igbo, sometimes it will perceive as Islamist with the Christian, sometimes with Christian with something like that. It depends on you, religion or ethnicity or something which you relies on your explanation. But some of the captivated chief or leaders of Boko Haram confess that they are not literate. They cannot read Quran, because they are illiterate and they don't know how to perform. So whether you could say that is a kind of Islamic or Christian, sometimes it's mathematical. You know, okay, here on the outside, I show you that you know the Igbo Hausa conflict in Nigeria today. Most Hausa handles call Igbos, baby factory, wife killer, armed robbers, traitor, criminals because of the Biafran war, and the like. On the other side, whereby the Igbo sounding handles labeling